Hello, hello. Welcome to today's stream. It's going to be a little low energy because I'm pretty fucking tired. I didn't get the best sleep recently. I know there's no one here, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead. Well, I can't ask anyone how their day's going because there's no one here to ask how their day's going. It's kind of unfortunate, but maybe we'll have some people pop in a little later. I don't know how long today's stream's gonna be. I'm honestly pretty tired and I don't have the proper mindset to kind of pull everything together into the most coherent entertainment or what have you, but today the main things I kind of wanted to go over were like the obviously in the title there's the aid supply drop that the U.S. delivered to Gaza today. I wanted to kind of go over that and the surrounding situation, give my thoughts on that, and then, there's clips floating around Twitter right now of Ethan being kind of cringe about your Bushnell and about the broader situation with the Palestinian genocide in Gaza. I'm going to adjust the camera real quick just a little bit. Oh, it's bugging me. There we go. And I just want to go over a few more other little tidbits of things that piqued my interest or that I felt I wanted to talk about or had something to say. We may or may not play some games later. I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty tired. Let's see. My dog is very upset right now. Literally in the corner of the frame, just staring at me with the most pissed off look. No. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just low energy. It's been like 3 days since I streamed last, so a lot of shit has happened. I know there's a lot to go over, but I'm not the best at collecting my thoughts or resources. I'm trying to get better about that, but so yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We'll go over the aid to Gaza. Give me just a moment here. Now, as I'm aware of, there was a clip kind of recently that I think, I don't know if it was necessarily a clip, but of like some aid getting across the border, there were, or at least it was a report, not clips, of like some aid being given to some of the people, I think, in Rafah, near Rafah, I don't remember here. You know what, let's do some fact checking. Refines. If I could spell. No. What was it? There were some IDF soldiers shot at some Palestinian civilians that were trying to get some aid that had come through. That was more recently. IDF massacre. Food supply. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, there was a food truck that came to Gaza, and there were a bunch of Palestinians swarming around it because, they're kind of starving to death. And the IDF opened fire and killed a bunch of people. Let me see. And then the IDF released some footage, like comparing them to ants. It's pretty fucking barbaric. Oh, the Flower Massacre. That's right. That's what it was called, wasn't it? I guess that's not gonna pull anything up. That's unfortunate. I hope I'm being picked up audio-wise. Let's see. Am I? Let's see. I am. Okay, good. Just wanted to double check. God, this is so bleak. Yeah, it was Rafah, wasn't it? For learning Palestinian food off. Let's see. It won't be the most exciting content today, unfortunately. But I gotta try and get back into the rhythm. Bring the camera down a little bit again. There we go. It's really official. Give details about what happened. If there's yeah, so it's pretty barbaric and unconscionable. These people are starving, so of course they're going to be a bit desperate, flee around or flock around any aid that they get. The IDF soldiers claiming, I do remember that they were claiming that the Palestinians or the Gazans or whatever were approaching in a threatening way. Bro, these are like emaciated, malnourished, like mostly children. As far as I'm aware, most of the population in Gaza is children. Dude, like come on, you're decked out in tactical gear. You're an IDF soldier. You have complete sovereignty to execute these people however or whenever you wish, for any reason. So it's kind of like, it's pussy shit to be like, oh my god, this 90-pound, this 50-year-old, this 90-pound 50-year-old, you know, who's been living in Gaza for the past 30 years, who once weighed 300 pounds, came at me. Well, they stumbled at me. I got scared. I thought it was Resident Evil, you know, so I started opening fire. I thought they dropped some red herbs or something. Yeah, so it was pretty monstrous. Of course, now we have the aid being dropped into Gaza today by the U.S. Needless to say, it's not nearly enough. Obviously, for all this time that's been going on, the only thing that should be done, really is just a ceasefire completely and totally. You know, America should be... We're Israel's sugar daddy. We shouldn't have any real issues kind of exercising what control we have over Israel to not just, like I said, not just mitigate, but put a stop to this kind of atrocity. Obviously, excuse me. We need to do more, obviously, you know. A lot of people are doing more. well, people are doing a lot of things to try and, I guess, inspire the U.S. government to actually um, exercise any command over Israel. But there was the um, large number of uncommitted voters recently. That was in Michigan or Massachusetts, something like that. Hold on one second. God, I'm so tired. Um, but yeah, we had things like the large number of uncommitted voters for Democrats in the most recent uh, primary or whatever it was. It wasn't the primary, which it did send a message, but I guess the message wasn't strong enough because, from what I understand, the Democratic Party was only concerned with that particular instance insofar as keeping a hold of their core voter base, which, Jesus, all the issues with the Democrat party's refusal to, I guess, incorporate more progressive ideology, because now they're just kind of stagnating. Anyway, so yeah, we dropped some some food, some aid to Gaza today. Very good thing, but not enough. Hopefully, eventually it escalates to a ceasefire, but I don't have any reason to believe it because Biden is a spineless piece of shit, and so are a lot of his constituency. So, but that also kind of extends to like. Well, it's funny that we're talking about this because the uncommitted vote wasn't the only thing to try and kind of send a message to Biden and his constituency. There was also the Aaron Bushnell incident where he was a soldier, I think, here in the U.S. I don't. Here, let's look it up again. Let's do some fact checking. He immolated himself. Let's see. Wikipedia. Let's go, baby. February 25th, Aaron Bushnell. Yeah, he was in the U.S. Air Force. He set himself on fire outside the Embassy of Israel in Washington, D.C. Yeah, so there was that, which has inspired a lot of discourse. My opinion on it is that, guys, don't burn yourself alive. It's as far as like political strategies go, it's not the best. Obviously, the end result is going to be your death. However, it's really stupid to pretend like this is ineffective. It's been done in several tyrannical countries across the world throughout all of human history. It is an extreme form of protest. I don't think it should be commonly adopted, but you know what? When people do what people do what they feel people do what they're inspired to. God, I can't do words today. People will do the things that they feel will inspire people the most to action. Obviously, Aaron Bushnell felt that in this case it was self-immolation. I respect him. He did something that a lot of people are too spineless to do. Well, I shouldn't say they're too spineless to do, but the message he intended to send was one which people. God, I'm off my game today. Hero, anyway. Yeah. So I just was it suicide? Obviously, because when you kill yourself, that's suicide. But I would not put it in the same category as like suicide from severe mental unwellness. Let's see. I wasn't realize he live streamed it. I thought it was, well, I mean, it makes sense that he live streamed it, but I can't imagine the kind of strain that was being put on Aaron's conscience, being a part of the U.S. Air Force, kind of having a much closer relation to the inner workings of the perpetuation of the Palestinian genocide. That would probably pretty negatively affect your mental health, but I think that in this case, it more so galvanized him to carry out an act that he felt would appropriately, I guess, gather people for a better cause. It was also funny that, like, there was the cop who was literally pointing a gun at him the entire time that Aaron was burning alive. Maybe he thought that... I don't know. Maybe he thought that Aaron Bushnell would pull a Fire Force or something and resurrect as a fire demon or whatever, and he needed to be ready. But Aaron Bushnell's act was incredibly selfless. Again, I don't encourage people to engage in self-immolation, but I'm certainly not gonna sit here and denounce the man for doing this. Now, in regards to this situation, people have been really spinning it as some sort of mental unwellness on his part. They've been saying, they've been making this argument to take away from, I guess, the weight, the gravitas of his act, of the message he was trying to send, disingenuously weaponizing mental health as a way to take away the legitimacy of this. Let's see. Well, you know what? Before we get into the Ethan thing, because this is related to that, let's kind of look at Aaron's upbringing, I guess, because we're gonna go over the quick Wikipedia article that it has, because Wikipedia is the best. Let's see. Christian meaning Jesus comment. It would probably help if I... Boop. Goodness gracious, I'm so fucking sorry. It's funny, it says here that he was brought up in an isolated Christian community of Jesus compound. It's very funny that he reached the decision that he did, considering his upbringing. But, people change, and people raised in those kinds of environments very frequently look for every exit out. Yeah. So yeah, there's that kind of like basic breakdown of the situation and kind of, I guess, how I feel about it. But, as the internet does, I'm not the only one with an opinion on the situation. And our good friend, Ethan Klein from the H3H3 podcast, had a few choice things to say about Aaron Bushnell. To kind of clarify, I used to watch a lot of the H3H3 content. I always liked Ethan, at least, from those days when I was younger, from that era. And then around the time that Ethan Klein started doing the, Keemstar beefing bullshit, I tuned out. I watched, a little before that, I watched some of his H3H3 podcast episodes, And they were good. Like I said, I still liked Ethan at that point, and then I just kind of stopped watching because the content. It's not the content was getting stuff. It's just I found other things that I was interested in. But over time, Ethan seemed to have kind of undergone a weird transformation. At least in his the social aspect of his career, where a lot of people just he seems to be embroiled in a lot of drama. As you do. And he's been kind of a mixed bag for me ever since. But a while ago, my perspective of Ethan started to decline a little bit more with the Palestine thing. I feel like he kind of, I don't know. I haven't kept up with that much with him in terms of like what his content, what he's been doing on his content and whatnot. But, I started liking him again when he had like the Ollie London interview that he did, the Pearl Davis interview that he did. They were both really funny. He did a good job. He clowned on Steven Crowder by, setting up a debate with Steven Crowder and then switched out for Sam Cedar, which was really funny. I do think overall Ethan is, he's progressive. I don't think he's like a bigot or anything, but recently Ethan has kind of had a Joker moment in regards to like the Aaron Bushnell thing. He's had some very interesting comments floating around. So I kind of wanted to watch the different clips that I've seen and kind of get my reaction. I haven't watched, full disclosure, I haven't watched the episodes of whatever it is he's doing that these clips came from. So maybe there's some context here that I'm not seeing. Regardless, I think even still the clips kind of highlight a kind of not so great mentality. So I guess let's just go over them one by one and yeah. Let's start with this one I saw. Boom.
Well, yeah, the reason for that being is that was the part that, again, I've gone out and I've said that everything y'all want to hear about there being a genocide and apartheid and the fucking warmongering Israeli government and all that fucking shit, okay? What I'm seeing on social media is not people saying it's not about genocide or whatever. What I'm seeing is tons of people glamorizing, romantic. Well, yeah, the reason for that.
I don't know if there's a fuller clip with that, but first off, I just want to say this is kind of like the attitude he has with this is kind of like pretty fucking dismissive, in my opinion. Some might say, just being like, oh, I've said everything you want me to say, instead of fronting it as like a genuine position that he holds, instead, framing it like, oh, you want me to say that, so I said it, now leave me alone about it. It's really dismissive and disrespectful. What else? There was the one, here's this one, we'll go over that one. Boop.
I've seen the video, and my first reaction is that don't say rest in power. That's not for him. I see the leftist dialogue about this has been absolutely bananas. My first reaction is this.
Okay, first off, I think when he says the leftist dialogue, what he refers to is like people arguing, oh, it's not mental wellness. I guess I should let him finish.
It was absolutely insane how he stood the whole time. That was crazy.
Because I seriously don't know. I guess I don't know what he means by leftist dialogue. Does he mean people like, I don't know, arguing with right-wingers and Zionists and stuff like that, or who are trying to like weaponize, or not weaponize, but I guess misconstrue, or I guess weaponize would be a good term for like the Aaron Bushnell stuff, who are disingenuously being like, oh, he is mentally ill, or the message he sent was like, it didn't mean anything or what have you. It's just yeah, it's just I don't know what he means by the leftist conversation.
You know how that's all humanly possible. Again, not to put this uncouth, but he's a champ at fucking burning alive. I mean, that sounds bad, but he did it really good. Does that sound bad? We have to make levity of things. Does that sound bad that he was really good? I mean, but I mean that as a compliment.
Let me turn this down a little bit.
What the fuck are you guys angry about, you weirdos? What did I do? My God, stop. They're just saying, all I hear.
Okay, so this is just kind of a joke in bad taste, but it's not a big deal. I think, in essence, I agree with the idea of like you need to bring levity to to situations like this. They're pretty grim, pretty dark. Give me just a second. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's not really a bad thing. I mean it is. I mean it's to a degree it's disrespectful to the memory of Aaron Bushnell, but at the same time it's like I personally also do that kind of shit where I'm just like I make jokes out of dark situations because it brings levity to the situation. People don't dwell on it and as heavily, what have you. But now this clip was kind of yikesy.
Wow, it should be more like, dude, that's
mental illness can be present and moral goodness can also.
Oh, I guess the leftist or the argument that he's talking about is like leftists are glamorizing Aaron Bushnell's self-immolation. They're praising him as a hero, saying that like, oh, everyone should go out and do this as a form of protest. I think that's what Ethan refers to as like the leftist conversation on this. Leftists aren't glamorizing it. I know I said earlier he's a hero, but it's like he's a hero in the sense that like I guess to put it simply, he was willing to die for his beliefs, which normally people would, it's the martyrdom. People would kind of, in movies, we see it in movies, romanticized, normalized in movies, shows, video games, all sorts of things. The hero, the character that heroically sacrifices himself for the greater cause. It's a thing we've seen throughout all of human history. It's a thing we're going to continue to see throughout all of human history. I don't think martyrdom in and of itself is like a good thing, but, as with anything, it can be used for good ends. But it's really disingenuous. It's really scummy to sit here and be like, well, the left is glamorizing it, romanticizing it, making him to be this huge hero, that he's not, or what have you. When the left isn't doing that, we're simply, I consider myself broadly a part of the left, but, I guess speaking on that behalf, it's like he's not being romanticized, but he is being acknowledged for the sacrifice he was willing to make in respect to his beliefs. More of a sacrifice than I think anyone complaining or disingenuously talking about him could ever muster.
Present at the same time, and I think that's just like, I don't understand when people say it wasn't suicide, just because I don't understand the logistics surrounding like finishing up.
It was suicide, but it's not comparable to someone like, I don't know, from depression taking their own life. This was obviously like a politically motivated action, obviously, but it's not comparable to like suicide from depression or whatever. This was obviously meant to be a public political statement. Unfortunately, he lost his life, but you know what? Again, I have to commend him for willing to. I think just as humans, we're more willing to acknowledge and give credit to people who are willing to sacrifice their lives for their ideals. And that's not new. That's been, like I said, it's been an attitude carried through human history since the beginning of human history. So
it's because you're right. It is because they're carving out a moral barrier for themselves to say, oh yeah, well in this case, killing yourself is great.
No, that's not at all what anyone is saying. No one is saying killing yourself is great. People are simply, like I said, commending a person for willing to, like, it's not carving out a moral exception. It's not this sudden new thing where people are just like, oh, because of this thing, we're willing to make the exception and say that, sacrificing yourself for your ideals is, oops, I didn't mean to clip the mic there, is like suddenly a new heroic thing. That's not what's happening. People are not doing that.
Great.
People are not carving, the left are not carving out an exception for this and being like, it's great to kill yourself. It's not
killing yourself is great.
This is just disingenuous, and I feel like maybe a deliberate misinterpretation.
But it's not. That's because it's not suicide. It is. It is. He killed himself. He has family. He has friends. Presumably.
He did kill himself. It is suicide, but again, it's not comparable.
He has people that are going to be affected by him leaving the planet in that way. It's suicide.
Yes. Of course, there's people going to be affected by him killing himself if he has family, friends, or whoever else. That's, well, for one, that's kind of like the point. But people die every day. People are affected by stubbing their toe or stepping on a particularly sharp piece of grass. Like
suicide. It literally is suicide. He was a service member. Well, then, did he have any delusion about what the United States military was? The ones that killed 1 million fucking Iraqis a decade before. Why did he join? I think he was mentally ill. I think what you said is right, Olivia. I think he did. Think he did something that in his mind didn't hurt anybody, and he made the ultimate sacrifice for what he thought was a righteous cause of paramount importance. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think people need to be absolutely careful with how they fucking put him on a pedestal, because you're gonna end. Because more people are gonna kill themselves, and I don't think.
Okay. Here's another thing: is Ethan's basically arguing people are gonna see. Oh God, I hate this argument. People are gonna see what Aaron Bushnell did, and they're gonna want to replicate it. That's somehow going to become standard. I'm sorry, no, people aren't going to want to set themselves on fire. This is an exceptional act of, just an exceptional act in general. It's not setting some sort of new standard. And to say that it is just really stupid. People aren't, we're not 5, okay? We're not going to see, we're not 5, okay? We're not going to see Tom, or we're not going to see Jerry hit Tom in the face with the face pan, and Tom's face gets all flat and pushed, we're not 5, okay? We're adults. We're trying to engage with this intelligently and maturely, and, takes like this, attitudes like this are just, they're not helpful. They're reductive.
Suicide should never be glamorized. Even when a fucking monk does it, and it's wow, it should be more dude, that's fucking crazy. And it's horrible also. It's absolutely mental health.
That's what people are saying. People are saying it's crazy and it's horrible. The fact that Aaron Bushnell felt that he needed to do this is crazy and horrible. The circumstances surrounding the motivations that led to Aaron Bushnell doing this are crazy and horrible. But you also have to understand that people do extreme things in extreme circumstances. I saw a clip where he was like, okay, this is something that's really only done in countries. Well, actually, I think it's this.
Then why isn't it? Okay, people go, it's not a mental health issue. Then why the fuck isn't there tons of other people doing it? I'm sorry. You don't set yourself on fire.
It's not a mental health issue. I'm sorry. It's not. I guess it's a mental health issue in the sense that Aaron Bushnell felt that there was a crisis of his morality and felt that maybe he was betraying it, and that there was some sort of conflict in his brain because of that. You could argue that there was that kind of mental unwellness. Maybe the mental illness that people want to talk about is that he I don't know, there, just to say that it's just it's not
other people doing it. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, why aren't there tons of other people doing it? Okay, it's almost like people are intelligent enough to broadly recognize that this is an extreme act meant to set a very distinct and extreme, God, my mic keeps peaking, I'm sorry, message. People are intelligent enough to recognize that this is not a normal thing that people do. It's not. People are intelligent enough to, at least I hope to God, people are intelligent enough to recognize that this is, this is, like I said, it's an abnormal act. It's an exceptional act. It is not act. It is not standard. And I don't know why Ethan acts so flabbergasted at the idea that people aren't going out and setting themselves on fire just because this one guy did. You want to talk about self-sacrifice, being crazy. What about jihadists? They kill themselves every day, but I don't know.
Sorry, you don't set yourself on fire. If he's a martyr, Jesus Christ. Some of y'all are lost. I don't know what to say. Some of y'all life sometimes wonders if I don't know, man. Chat is so fucking weird. I agree. People under tyrannical, so Palestinians. No, but there are people whose voices can't be heard. Also, the dude's not even Palestinian. If he was, you know what I mean?
Who gives a fuck if he's... Okay, you know what? Okay, hold on. No, hold on. I'm going to hold on just a second. I'm not Palestinian. Ethan's not Palestinian. The majority... okay, I'm also not black, so do I have no right to talk on black rights, black issues? Do I have no reason to stand up and oppose, you know, anti-black racism? Like, do I, because I'm not a part of that group, do I suddenly not get to have a say on it? Can I suddenly not take action in regards to my belief on those things just because I'm not a part of that group? It's basic, like, God, I'm not going to claim that I'm, like, politically educated or anything, but I can't help but say that this is, like, identity politics. Just because you're not a part of that group doesn't mean you don't get to have an opinion on that group, or doesn't mean you don't get to stand up in favor of that group. And it doesn't matter if he was here in the U.S. I'm here in the U.S. You're here in the U.S. Ethan's in the U.S. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter where you are. You can oppose horrible things that happen anywhere from anywhere. You know, it's it's just silly. It's silly.
Like, nobody in Palestine is like going
I know. I'm pause champing on a clip
to the fucking barbed wire fence of the wall and setting themselves on fire.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna rewind that a little bit.
People whose voices can't be heard. Also, the dude's not even Palestinian. If he was, you know what I mean? No, but there are people whose voices can't be heard. Also, the dude's not even Palestinian.
Exactly. Well, I mean, and people's voices can't be heard. The Palestinian people's voices can't be heard. You know, because Israel has gone out of the way to lock down any forms of communication. They've removed people's water. They've blocked journalists from going in. They stopped letters. They have cut off internet access for people in Gaza. So, like, yeah, their voices aren't being heard. That's probably part of what inspired Aaron Bushnell to do what he did, to send a message on behalf of the people who can't send their message.
Palestinian. If he was, you know what I mean? Like, nobody in Palestine is like going to the fucking barbed wire fence of the wall and setting themselves on fire.
Right. Yeah, no, they're not, because instead what they're doing is desperately clamoring for what little food that they can get that was provided them by a food truck, and then getting fired on by IDF soldiers, because the IDF soldiers felt a little scared at how fast those starving Palestinians were moving. Almost like the cop who gets you know, a little afraid, who sees a black guy reach for a Tootsie Roll in his pocket and assumes that the black guy is going to pull out an AK-47 and mow down every guy in the Starbucks. So the cop has a quick, he valiantly draws his gun and empties 2 clips into the black guy. Like, dude, yeah, no, they're not setting themselves on fire. They don't have to set themselves on fire. Instead, what they can do is stand in their home, terrified, scared, knowing that they're probably never going to see the light of the next morning, and then getting bombed, by the 7th Israeli bombing plane path that day. You know, yeah, no, of course they're not going to the razor wire and setting themselves on fire, obviously.
If someone did that, it'd probably be like, wow, that's fucking, like, that would hit me maybe harder. Again, not to trivialize. If someone did that, it'd probably be like, wow, that's fucking, like, that would hit me maybe harder.
I'm pretty sure what's happening to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip hits people pretty hard as it is. The point of Aaron Bushnell's self-immolation is that he is an American, and unfortunately, or fortunately, it depends on how you look at it, the world looks to America for a lot of standards. I'm not saying that they solely rely on it, but they do look here to America. The world does. And, you know, when they see a man set himself on fire in a perfectly safe environment that he had no reason to do that for, in protest to the atrocity that is the genocide, Palestinian genocide, they pay a little more attention to it than unfortunately, than the 40 Palestinian children who were gunned down on any given day of the week. You know,
again,
it's unfortunate.
Not to trivialize it. However, you have to be mentally ill to set yourself on fire.
He is trivializing it.
Especially, I'm sorry. Then why aren't people going and doing it? There's a billion.
Oh my God, Ethan. Oh my God, Ethan. Listen, okay. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'll acknowledge that, but I can tell you right now, you don't have to be mentally ill to go set yourself on fire to advocate for a cause that you feel is justified. Would you say that the monks that set themselves on fire were mentally ill? No. The only reason you don't say that is because they're in another country, because it's farther away from you and you don't have to think about it. That's the only reason you wouldn't say that. The problem here is that Aaron Bushnell was American and he did this on American soil, and that makes you uncomfortable, so you try to find every avenue possible to take away the legitimacy of his action and his protest. That's the only reason that you are wanting to attribute it so severely to, or so closely to, mental illness. That's the only reason. Aaron Bushnell burned himself alive in protest against tyranny and genocide. That is no different than someone in India burning themselves alive in protest to tyranny and genocide. Again, the only reason it makes you uncomfortable is because Aaron Bushnell was American.
People talking about Twitter, so why isn't there a whole fucking Congo line of people self-immolating outside of the Israeli consulate?
Mental illness can be present.
God, fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Let's find the next clip. It's just kind of like disappointing because Ethan Klein has a lot of pull. Again, I don't think he's like ideologically like a bigot. I don't think he's hateful, but you know, maybe it's a lapse of judgment on his part with this one. Maybe it's something he's, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna say this because it pisses me
No,
off.
I don't care about that.
My first reaction is that don't say
Oh, okay.
rest in power. That's not for him. I see. And being an anti-Semite.
No, like I said, it just boggles my mind that it's unfortunate that Ethan Klein is taking these stances because he's contributing to the narrative that the conservatives are kind of adopting and pushing. And it's sad because, like I said, he has so much pull. He has so much attention that is placed on him. You know, he's associated with Hassan. He's associated with, you know, some. He's just a very well-known public figure, and you know, this kind of makes me sad to see. You know, I hope. I don't know. The other thing I saw in regards to Ethan Klein was the whole. I don't know. I don't remember her name. Frogan or something like that. He was getting mad at her because she was saying that she. Well, I guess we'll just watch the clip. Why not? I don't think it's necessary. I don't really necessarily have a lot to say about it.
I'm gonna say this because it pissed me the fuck off. And being an anti-Semite openly and proudly is now likes on Twitter. Rogan.
It has been for a long time, unfortunately. I don't know why he's saying that's just happening now. Elon Musk, since he's bought Twitter, has he's just kind of like openly allowed the propagation of anti-Semitism. I mean, he's allowed the open propagation of a lot of things, and he also personally advocates it or endorses it. But this is not a new issue on Twitter, and I don't know if Ethan is only saying this because has he not been paying attention? I guess I feel like Ethan should have a pretty damn good idea of what's going on Twitter and what Twitter is like. You know, anti-Semitism is not new in any way, shape, or form, and if this is what brought his attention to the problem of anti-Semitism on Twitter, it kind of boggles my mind.
She tweeted out, she goes, I have a problem with my Zionist therapist. Just call him a fucking Jew. I'm sorry, but that you can't.
Not every Jew is Zionist. Zionist is a very specific term that refers to a very specific set of beliefs, I guess. I mean, from what I understand, Zionism is just well, shit, you know what? Let's look it up. Fuck it, why not? Hold on. Zionism. Yeah. So, we're just gonna go to Wikipedia again because Wikipedia is god tier. Why not? Fuck it. I mean, we had the Google definition here, which is just here talking about how it's specifically referring to a movement to establish and develop and maintain a Jewish nation, Jewish ethno-state, essentially. I'm sorry. You don't get an ethno-state. I don't care who you are, you don't get a fucking ethno-state. It just doesn't work like that. Sorry. But yeah, it refers to a very specific set of beliefs on, like, having, like I said, a nation for specifically Jews. It's supposed to be like a safe haven word, but obviously, like, we see that, like, Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't really give a shit about providing an actual safe space for Jews. What he wants is, well, he's a dictator and a tyrant, so what he wants is power, and he wants land, and he wants to exercise every, avenue of control over the people he doesn't like, the groups that he doesn't like. It's just, Zionist is a specific term, and Zionist does not equal Jew. I find that conflation very frustrating. I don't really know any Jews in my life. I've never really known any Jews in my life, but I can tell you right now, there are a lot of Jews who probably get really fucking tired of being just called Zionists by virtue of being Jewish. Yeah, so anyway, back to it.
I'm going to say this because it pissed me the fuck off. And being an anti-Semite openly and proudly is now likes on Twitter. Rogan, she tweeted out, she goes, I have a problem with my Zionist therapist. Just call him a fucking Jew. I'm sorry, but that you can't talk like that about any other fucking minority. I had a problem with my Zionist therapist. What'd you taught your Zionist therapist? Did you get those level of details from them? You had an in-depth conversation about the politics of Zionism with your therapist? No, I know what you mean. You mean fucking Jew.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it is possible to have conversations like that with your therapist. I'm not... It is. I know some people have a much more personal relationship with their therapist, and some people are comfortable talking to their therapist about that kind of thing, and sometimes their therapists are uncomfortable talking to their patients about that kind of thing. People are complicated, and their relationships are equally complicated. But anyway.
I'm not going to sit here and let my fucking people, be openly bigoted and racist. Fuck that shit. Nobody would expect that from any other minority.
I don't think you're bigoted or racist for... Okay, I mean, you are bigoted and racist for conflating Jew and Zionist. That's true. I don't think you're bigoted or racist for being anti-Zionist.
Nobody. It's disgusting. It is. And I'm here. I'm with you. I'm going to...
So, yeah, I guess... I mean, those are the clips that I wanted to go over of Ethan's. They're circulating right now and doing the rounds, and before long, it'll probably blow up a little bit more, and... we'll see more drama with that kind of thing. It's not necessarily bad. I think Ethan should be criticized for the stupid, dumb fuck, brain dead takes that he's had in those clips. Hopefully, he does, receive some blowback. He should be receiving blowback for all this. Yeah, he's wrong. I'm sorry. It's just he's wrong about this kind of stuff. And again, like I said, it's sad. I thought Ethan was kind of like on a come up a little bit, with like the Pearl Davis shit, the XQC shit, the Sam Cedar shit, the Ollie London shit. It seemed like he was kind of on a streak there, and now he's just taking all that good faith and flushing it down the toilet, which makes me very sad. I don't expect him to make an adjustment to that kind of approach anytime soon. Hopefully he takes criticism well. It doesn't seem like he really does. He's dug his feet on this a bit. Dug in his feet a bit on this particular subject. I know he had an interview a while ago with Hassan, or not an interview, but a segment or whatever with Hassan where they were talking about this kind of stuff. I don't remember. I watched it. I just don't remember the gist of it because it was a little while ago and I have a fucking awful memory. So yeah, Ethan Klein, be better. Simple as. Um, now on to the random silly stuff. You know. Here's a clip that I thought was pretty funny. Here, let me. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna look something up real quick. Joe Manchin. Is he Republican? Is he Democrat? I mean, I know people. He's not very popular with people. Here, let's go.
Joe Manchin. I've sold our futures and you've gotten rich doing it. You sick fuck. How dare you? You sold our futures. I don't want to sit down somewhere so we can talk. I'm not going to sit down.
Like, how fucking pathetic, by the way, that this dude felt the need to push that other dude. It was like, well, we'll get to that clip a little bit later, but it's really pathetic. Like, people like, I don't know what exactly is being referenced here. I know that they mentioned some sort of climate change thing, which I wouldn't be surprised if a politician is bad on climate change. Ooh, shocker. But it's kind of pathetic that, like, people like this, when actually confronted by people that are affected by their bad policies, by their poor decision making, and just complete and utter disregard for these people's lives, they feel the need to I don't know, it's childish. He pushes him down, he acts big and tough, he wants to square up, but the reality is Joe Manchin is a weasel. He's a spineless weasel. Anyway.
You sick fuck. How dare you?
Like, seriously, you can't take the sick fuck, you can't take that insult. You ruin people's lives every day, and, like, you can't take that insult to your face. You have to have some dude be like, no, it's okay, and then turn around and just. I hope he gets sued, by the way, because that is unironic assault.
I don't want to sit down somewhere so we can talk. I'm not going to sit down. You've received more funding than any other senator.
You made millions out of your position. You drive a Maserati.
Valley Pipeline goes right through West Virginia, which are your constituents. These people came here. Support.
Pipeline? Okay, hold on. Mountain Valley Pipeline. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's take a look real quick. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Mountain Valley Pipeline. This is Joe Manchin's website, so let's go over it. Release the following. I am proud to announce that we have finally secured the completion of the Mountain Valley Pipeline and have done so with broad bipartisan support. For more than 9 months, I have worked. No, this is. I don't care about that. I just want to know about the Mountain Valley Pipeline. Now, I get nervous about looking up stuff like this, just because, okay, how do I put this? Obviously, unfortunately, we do still need oil. We need gasoline for our vehicles and a lot of, like, the generators and stuff that we have, just the unfortunate reality. Being able to produce oil or gasoline, I guess, in-house within the country, not having to rely on outside sources of acquiring it would be a good thing, at least in regards to, like, well, now we don't have to worry about paying another country for it. The country can no longer, I guess, influence policy making and politicians and stuff with that kind of thing. We can control prices and regulation on this stuff a little bit more. So there are definitely benefits to having there are definitely benefits to having like oil and gasoline production within the country, within our our home country. However, the history of these pipelines is usually pretty fucking bad. There was the one a while ago. I think it was the Nord Stream pipeline, something like that. I don't remember. But it was the one that Trump was trying to get built around like the 2016 years. That was cutting straight through like indigenous land. You know, it was defiling like very culturally significant areas for them. And it seems like pipelines being built here in the U.S. just kind of do that shit all the time. It's also very dangerous to have that kind of thing in regards to the environment, because if you have it spill or break or whatever, any leaks, that will poison the environment irreparably, or at least to the point where it's effectively impossible to clean up. You know, we see things like that, you know, from like we had like the Gulf spill, and you know, there are a bunch of other instances, which is why I'm always nervous of things like this, I suppose. Let's see. Per day. Some legal challenges. Wait, hold on. In July 2022, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin made a deal with U.S. Democratic Party leadership to ease regulatory barriers for the pipeline in exchange for his support of the Inflation Reduction Act. I see. Would require the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to take all necessary completion. Oh, so they're basically saying, okay. Okay. Well, hold on. Fiscal responsibility has all federal permits needed to complete the project be issued by June 24th. Were they issued? Okay, yeah. So just on this very cursory reading, I don't know. God, I'm so ignorant to a lot of things. Like I said, I'm kind of new to doing research on this stuff. I'm the typical American in a lot of ways, where I see something called like the Inflation Reduction Act, and I don't bother looking into it because I'm lazy. But the fact that he would, I don't know. From what I understand, the Inflation Reduction Act is overall good, but the fact that Joe Manchin, I don't know how much influence he holds. I've heard his name thrown around a lot, so probably a lot of influence, but the fact that Joe Manchin withheld his support of the Inflation Reduction Act in favor of this stupid fucking pipeline, yeah, it pretty cringe. Pretty cringe. Oh, like an entire, oh, look at that. An entire section to the opposition. Also, I think we're at a point, like, even to build this pipeline, if it meant, like, removing a bunch of trees and, like, blocking a bunch of, like rivers and creeks and stuff, and, you know, like, wildlife, things like that. I think we're at a point with climate change where we can't, I don't think we should be fucking around with that, honestly. We have to conserve that shit as much as we can. The only way in which I'm a conservative is for the environment. The Appalachian Trail? What's that? Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, if it's good, if the pipeline would cut across the trail here, that would be really unfortunate. If it's such a big trail, I mean, can you imagine having like a nice, like quiet, just peaceful walk or hike along this trail? You know, it's beautiful, it's serene, you know, maybe you're with the person you love or whatever, and it's just you're peaceful, one of the peak moments of your life, and then you come across this giant fucking ugly metal pipe like sloshing, like sloughing all this like oil fucking through it. It's just, yeah, that would ruin my day a little bit. Okay. Jesus. Jesus fucking Christ. Fucking Stacy over here. Chad Stacy or whatever. Jesus. Yeah, yeah, all the like runoff and like pollution stuff caused just by clearing the land, I feel like is enough to say no. I don't know. We just have such a like a it's really disappointing because in regards to like conservation of the environment, like significant historical landscapes, things like that, it's a much more recent attitude that humans have adopted. And it's really sad to see like the worst kind of people immediately turn head and try to ruin it. You know, it's so frustrating, so sad. You know, it's just, oh God, they literally took people's property for this. That's not great. Okay, yeah. Very cursory look at that. Already gives me everything I need to know that Joe Manchin kind of fucking sucks on, at least with this.
Virginia, which are your constituents.
These people came here support this pipeline. The pipeline they should support because it has energy going to
Not your futures, not your profits. The Mountain Valley Pipeline will eventually be one of the many pipelines.
Yeah, coal mine dust. Okay, it's crazy. I remember learning about this a little while ago. Like coal, people complain about like nuclear reactors and stuff about like what if it melts down, what if there's runoff, a million other things. It's so insane because like coal mining, coal burning, all this stuff is so incredibly hazardous, like a million times more hazardous than like a nuclear plant could ever be. Like there's this town where like people just were getting horribly burned, sick from radiation stuff, not because there was a nuclear reactor nearby, but because they were burning like coal there, and like it's just like coal mining, coal burning, all that stuff causes so much pollution, so many health risks and stuff. Like there's a reason coal mining is such an undesirable like a job or career occupation or whatever. It's because it's dangerous. It'll fuck you over. It's horrible.
We'll get back on track here, guys.
Protect our futures, not your profits. Protect our futures, not your profits.
Yeah, that's right. You take that biscuit, bro. Take that biscuit. Oh, Joe Manchin. Oh my God, what a little weasel, man. I love that they completely derailed that entire meeting. It looks like he fucking deserves it. Fuck him. I don't care. Let's see. Yeah, it's just that clip was kind of funny. You know, the guy getting pushed at the beginning, I hope he's okay. You know, it doesn't look like he was hurt, obviously, but I hope he pushes for charges because that was just unironic assault. Oh yeah, this clip I wanted to go over was Okay, so we all know about the Uvalde shooting. I don't think we really need to go into detail on that one. It was fucking horrifying, and the police who were called to the scene to stop the shooting literally did nothing the entire time until the shooter. Literally, they didn't do anything until the shooter had already killed themselves. So, yeah, I mean, I don't. Fuck police, you know, all cops are bastards. I mean, I'm sorry to break the notion to you. There is no such thing as a good cop. I'm sorry. Even like the good cops, they don't exist. A good cop is like not a cop. That's the reality of it. Anyway, let's go to the clip.
Why are you arresting?
You want to sit there and you want to try to beat him up and everything, like you're not that. We've already seen that. We already saw that when we got the phone call that there were 89 students still alive in that classroom, and you walked the fuck away.
All right, if you don't speak, watch your language.
Language. My child is fucking dead.
What a fucking ghoul. What's your language? Bro, how many children were killed at the Uvalde shooting? How many people were killed at the Uvalde shooting? Well, the police sat there and twiddled their thumbs and were too scared when they were covered in body armor and had SWAT teams behind them and just sat there and did nothing until the shooter killed themselves, did all the work for the police. Look at that. Someone, I mean, if we wanted, you know, someone doing their job better than the police, not a shocker. But anyway, yeah, it's just, what a fucking ghoul, prissy, piece of shit. You know, this guy screaming, cursing, or whatever, completely and utterly justified, obviously.
Dead! And you have the ball and the gall to stand up here in front of everybody. No. I'm under arrest. Let's do this.
Why are you arresting him when that piece of shit right there?
It just, this is America. Yeah, it's just, it's what a clown show, what a sham, you know, fucking, I had a little carrot on my hat, where'd it go? Oh, it's all the way over here, hold on. Yeah, it's a fucking circus here in the U.S., unfortunately. You know, this guy, like I said, he has every fucking right to be outraged. To be honest, he's taking this a lot more calmly than I would if my kid was killed in the Uvalde shooting. You know, I probably shouldn't say what I do, but, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking Trump. He stood in the fucking hallway. Fuck that piece of shit.
You
don't have to get him like that.
Stop shouting. Bitch, what the fuck?
Stop shouting! Stop shouting! You're hurting my ears! Stop shouting! Oh my god. It's so uncouth. It's so barbaric of you. If you have something to say, you must be properly, you must be posed properly, and you must enunciate correctly and use the correct grammar. No cursing. No cursing. It's degenerate to curse.
Well, I didn't even do nothing. Your ass.
Hey, one of y'all come in here too, because I don't want to be left alone with these dudes.
Come on in here.
Come on, my God.
No.
No, not that. Please. You're not
Fucking coming up at me like that, folks.
Go down, wait. Go downstairs, my God.
I appreciate you, sir. You're a dick. Okay. Fucking grabbing at me like that and shit. I was walking. I was compliant. Was I not, sir?
Yes, you were.
Thank you.
Go ahead, big and bad. All you motherfuckers are big and bad with a goddamn badge and a fucking gun.
They want that.
Yeah.
When Major Force was here, where the fuck were they?
Exactly.
Fucking scared.
Hey, wherever I'm going, can you open my smoke? It's in my truck.
Yes.
What a fucking Chad. Oh, and then, you know, he's here smoking later. So, yeah, this clip, you know, cops really are just like the lowest IQ motherfuckers in the world, just looking for whatever power they can get their hands on and abusing it to the greatest extent possible to fulfill the incredibly infinite black depths that exist in their heart. God, I fucking hate cops. I really do. Yeah, like I said, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, the person who had him escorted just for saying fuck. I spineless, weasel, coward, just absolutely despicable. I really do hate the idea of like this sanitized language shit. I'm sorry, we're all adults. We're all adults, you know. Curse words are curse words, you know. I don't know what else to say. You don't have to be particularly. I don't think you need a very large vocabulary. You know what? I think you can make your points just fine with you know, swear words. It's just you know, like I said, we're adults. We curse. I don't give a fuck. Like, cursing is not a big deal. Just generally speaking. I don't know. I hate the sanitation. The idea of like sanitized language. If you want to speak fancy and you want to use crazy, you want to sound like an 1800s poet or whatever, fine, go ahead. But you know what? Don't ridicule or criticize me. Oops, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Because I just want to make my arguments by saying fuck 60 times in a row. Fuck, you know. Oh yeah, okay, this is actually a pretty big deal. I'm actually gonna, let's pull up the article for this, because this is a pretty major thing. If you've been keeping track of like the trans panic and stuff that's been going on recently, especially with like all the bills and whatnot that are being passed throughout the country, you'll know that shit's getting pretty real. And to kind of lend to that, we have this. Texas governor calls on citizens to report parents of transgender kids for abuse. Yeah, it's pretty dire. From what I understand, there have been people from Texas, like government officials and stuff, who have been reaching out to other states. I think Seattle, Washington was one of the places, trying to find or trying to get a hold of the records of people who are living there, who are trans, who were in Texas. Like people who they have no business having their information. They're trying to get a hold of things like address. They're trying to get a hold of things like occupation, names, names, birthdays, medical records, things like that. They are compiling a list, and you know what comes after lists? Death camps come after lists, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately is an understatement, but yeah, shit's getting pretty real. Let's go ahead and read over this. Governor Greg Abbott said those who fail to report instances of minors receiving gender-affirming medical care could face criminal penalties. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling on licensed professionals and members of the general public to report the parents of transgender minors to state authorities if it appears the minors are receiving gender-affirming medical care, which they consider grooming. The directive was part of a letter Abbott, a Republican, sent Tuesday to the Department of Family and Protective Services, calling on it to conduct a prompt and thorough investigation of any reported instances of minors undergoing elective procedures for gender transitioning. Abbott's letter follows an opinion released Monday by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, which stated that allowing minors to receive transition care such as puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery is child abuse under state law. Yeah, like I said, they consider it grooming, child abuse, whatever. Paxton issued the opinion after the legislature failed last year to pass a bill that would have made it a felony alongside physical and sexual abuse to provide such care to minors. An opinion is an interpretation of an existing law. It does not change the law itself, but can affect how it is enforced. Yeah, another instance of, like, it doesn't really matter what the law literally says. Conservatives or literally anyone can take it and make it say whatever they want to say. Especially conservatives, though. Tuesday's letter, Abbott tasked licensed professionals who work with children, including teachers, nurses, and doctors, and members of the general public with reporting such claims. He added that the state law provides criminal penalties for failure to report such child abuse. Yeah, so this doesn't just extend to, like, your parents or your doctors. which already the fact that your parents are included is pretty fucking insane. They're talking about teachers, fuck baristas, minimum wage workers at McDonald's, things like that. If they don't report you, or they don't, well, yeah, if they don't report you either giving or receiving gender affirming care to your child or anyone else that you could be held legally responsible and given fines, jail time, whatever else. It's pretty fucking insane. Advocates allege that both Paxton's opinion and Abbott's letter are politically motivated. Obviously, all of this is politically motivated. It's always politically motivated. There's no thing that isn't politically motivated. Knowing that they were released just ahead of the March 1st Republican primary and that both men face a crowded field of contenders in their re-election bids. Andre Perez, policy and advocacy strategist for LGBTQ equality at the American Civil Liberties Union of Texas, said Paxton is trying to distract from problems plaguing his campaign. He's awaiting trial for a 2015 indictment on charges of securities fraud, and he's under investigation by the FBI over allegations of bribery and abuse of office. Paxton's office did not return a request for comment. I'm not familiar with any of that, so maybe we'll go over that another time, but there's no court in Texas or the entire country that has ever found that gender affirming care can constitute child abuse. It's not. I don't think I really didn't get into the reasons why it's not child abuse. Brian Kloster-Boer, a staff attorney at the ACLU of Texas, said in a statement that neither the opinion nor the letter have a legal effect and cannot change Texas law, nor usurp the constitutional rights of Texas families. That's a lie. Yeah, I'm trying to deflect. No, obviously it can and will have a legal effect. Also, clearly Texas doesn't give a fuck about the constitutional rights of Texas families. They don't give a fuck. Obviously, Texas just doesn't give a fuck about following the law or the safety of people or anything like that. Obviously. It's funny also, by the way, that this comes as Texas is actively defying Supreme Court orders, actively locking up the the immigrants coming across the border, coming to the border, actively putting them in jails. It's funny because Texas hasn't received any backlash for any of this or any sort of repercussions. So, let's see. But they spread fear and misinformation and could spur false reporting of child abuse at a time when DFPS is already facing a crisis in our state's foster care system. Kloster-Boer stated, the law is clear that parents, guardians, and doctors can provide transgender youth with treatment in accordance with prevailing standards of care. Any parent or guardian who loves and supports a child and is taking them to a licensed healthcare provider is not engaged in child abuse. Obviously, they're not engaging in child abuse. However, that doesn't matter. As has been demonstrated time and time again, conservatives, Republicans, whatever you want to call them, just the right in general, is more than happy to take and twist whatever they can get their hands on to achieve their goals. In this case, it means hunting down, prosecuting, and ultimately destroying any member of the LGBTQ community which they perceive as deviant or degenerate. It doesn't matter what the law says. I'm sorry. They're still going to yeah. Again, sorry, I'm tired today. Let's see. Investigating claims of child abuse against parents, trans kids without passing legislation law. At least one county level official has said he will not enforce BAP's directive. Christian Menifee, the elected attorney who represents the Department of Family Protective Services. Yeah, obviously they're ignoring medical professional, just general medicine. Obviously they're ignoring it. As much as the right likes to pretend that they're the pro-science, pro-medicine, pro-whatever party, they are not. They actively reject any scientific evidence. They actively reject any scientific perspective or medical perspective. They actively twist and lie about it constantly. This is best demonstrated with the transgender thing of basic biology. Well, even in the best light, maybe it is basic biology that there's two sexes, but you know what? That's basic biology. It's almost like basic math being 2 + 2 isn't the entirety of math, and things get more complicated as you get older and you get further into the field. It's almost like shit's always more complicated. So, yeah, but Texas, yeah, they're working on putting together a list. They're trying to get things moving, and it only gets worse from here. If you're in Texas or any of these other red states that are starting to enforce, are starting to compile lists like this, starting to enforce LGBTQ or whatever laws, just get out. I'm sorry. I know it's not easy. I know not everyone is in the position to just move suddenly. But, you know, you really, really, like, we don't have the time to mess around. You really don't. I'm sorry. I wish things were different for people who are in the line of fire for this kind of thing. Like I said, if you are, please try your best to get out. If you can't get out, take every possible precaution to stay safe. Be armed if you can. If you can't, find some other source of self-protection, whether it be pepper spray or, I don't know, like a bat or whatever. Just have something. Stay close to the people who support you and support the people who support you. Stay, together. Watch out for each other. Keep each other's backs covered. And just stay safe. It's, like I said, it's getting scary. Even in some... I'm in a blue state. Luckily, I don't face that kind of danger at the moment. So I am, I'm grateful for that. But even seeing this kind of stuff from here is terrifying. And it makes me uncertain of what our future looks like with that. Let's see. What else do we have here? Yeah, trying to think. Was there anything else in particular that I really wanted to cover today? I know. Oh, what? Okay. No, something just coming to mind was the Ian Miles Chong thing. I don't know if he's alive anymore, but he was not too long ago he was arrested by the Malaysian government, and which was kind of funny. So we got to soldier down, Yeah, I don't know. I think that just about does it for everything I wanted to cover today. There's a lot of stuff that has happened over these past 3 days. I mean, shit, these days, God, everything happens so fast anymore. So it's hard to keep up, Oh yeah, there was the Finster coming out thing. Congratulations, Finster. I never watched any of your content, and I barely even really knew about you. But congratulations on coming out. I don't know what exactly you were coming out about, but cool. I I'm glad you're feeling comfortable and happy, or at least I hope you are. And I hope people treat you very, very nicely. If they don't, then fuck them. Ban them, ignore them, whatever. Just don't let them get to you. There was this clip. I guess, you know what? We'll go over it. Why not? I'm not doing anything
Life. That is a
now.
biological.
So, a while ago, there was the story of the 10-year-old who was raped by her father and ended up having to go to another state to get an abortion because the state that she lived in wouldn't have allowed her to get it. And obviously, if she had given birth to the child, she would have most likely died because she was 10. It's kind of died off in the public view, obviously, but I came across this clip recently of a woman from the Right to Life leader, or the Cincinnati Right to Life leader. Her name is Laura Streetman, making a comment on the girl who was raped by her father. So let's go over that because it's fun. It's good news. It makes everyone happy, right?
She cried and begged for a little sister or a baby. And while a pregnancy might have been...
Also, I don't know why, but the syncing, the audio comes out of sync from them speaking, so it's gonna be a little
difficult on a 10-year-old body. A woman's body is designed to carry life. That is a biological fact. It is not designed to have disgusting death instruments.
Okay.
She cried and begged for a little sister or a baby.
Right off the bat, fucking disgusting. Every fucking 10-year-old girl begs and cries for well, doesn't beg and cry, but every 10-year-old girl, I feel like, has at some point been like, oh, I want a baby, or I want a sister, or I want a brother, or whatever. This lady taking that and being like, oh, well, you know, she begged and cried for a baby or a little sister, and, well, you know, she got what she asked for, you know, now she's pregnant because she was raped by her father, so she asked for it, she got it, it's on her, really.
And while a pregnancy might have been difficult on a 10-year-old body...
It was going to kill her. No 10-year-old should be pregnant. No 10-year-old should be having a baby. I'm sorry.
A woman's body is designed to carry life.
Not a 10-year-old's.
That is a biological fact.
Not a 10-year-old's.
It is not designed to have disgusting death instruments remove her preborn child from her womb.
The audacity of this woman to talk about disgusting death instruments being used to remove the 10-year-old girl's preborn baby is just insane. You want to talk about disgusting death instruments being inserted into this 10-year-old's body? Let's talk about her father's penis when it was being, well, okay, yeah, let's not get graphic, but yeah, a lot of audacity.
Both situations would be difficult, but we know for a fact that every single time life wins. And that, again, is a statistical fact. It's a terrible, tragic situation. And
she has no right to say that because she doesn't give a fuck.
Must do better to protect children.
You don't give a fuck about protecting children. All of this argument is... everything she said is an argument in favor of child abuse and exploitation. She doesn't care about pedophilia, obviously. She is 100% for it. She doesn't give a fuck. Doing better in the future to avoid situations like this is one, well, when they do happen, because they do happen, unfortunately, and it's going to continue to happen for as long as humans exist, unfortunately. Mitigating situations like this or preventing it comes with something called abortion. I don't know if she's familiar with it, though. The other thing is,
from that kind of a difficult situation that allows such heinous, horrible abuse. And
also the conflation of the difficult situation between getting an abortion for a 10-year-old girl or forcing this 10-year-old girl to give birth to a child that was only conceived because her father raped her, and this birth would probably kill her. Yeah, that is a difficult situation. That's a pretty tough choice. Have a baby or get an abortion. don't die from giving birth to your, rapist father's child, versus doing that. Yeah.
I'm sorry the abortionist did not report the rape, and I'm sorry that the mother permitted this.
The mother permitted this. Fucking Christ.
An effort to have things that are accurate on this record in this very distinguished body in these halls where laws are made. That is simply untrue. It was reported. So let us not continue to spread disinformation time and time again.
Thank you, but also I feel like the larger concern here is not about the disinformation being spread about whether or not the rape was reported. It's good to correct the record on that, but that's not the primary issue here.
About certain families' personal issues that they have dealt with in terms of a 10-year-old rape victim being raped and child sexual abuse. I take extreme offense to that on behalf of the family and the poor 10-year-old who was subjected in that way to being raped at such a young, tender age.
Yeah, once again, just reinforcement of Republicans and conservatives not giving a fuck about child abuse or child exploitation. They don't care. Children are objects to them. Children are targets for them. They, they don't care. They don't care. Well, I guess they do care insofar as they want to actively perpetuate the exploitation and abuse of children, but they don't actually care about the well-being of these children. Yeah. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, I think that just about does it for today. It's not as long as a stream as I would normally want to do. I got started a little later in the day. I was catching up on some sleep, so that kind of put me behind. I'm still extremely tired, but anyway, I know no one came out to watch, but I still had fun, like I always do. I'll be streaming tomorrow. We'll see what it is. I have no plans immediately, but obviously, we'll see when we get there. Stay safe to anyone that somehow sees this. And yeah,